So today it's all about growing ginger in the house and then eventually goes into the garden. It is probably one of the most simple things, well it's actually not the most simple things, but it's a really, really simple thing to grow. Yes, this video has been several weeks in the making because I also did an experiment, but let's start with the ginger rhizomes I bought. So I went to the shops and I looked for plump, organic ginger rhizomes. None of this mushy old wrinkly crap. It needs to be firm and the skin nice and tightish. Also, when you have a look at them, you're looking for eyes like these sort of things. Another one there. And they're kind of all over the place. And also here, I mean, some people call them eyes. I kind of think they look like zits you just want to pop. Anyway, so you're looking for those because this is where the new shoot will emerge. I got a few more because I'm a greedy ass and I just want to have a shitload of ginger this year because I tried it before and it really didn't work because our growing season is very, very short. So right now it's January and this is when I'm starting to plant them so that they have a longer growing season inside as well as outside. But before we start with the planting, ginger tends to be sprayed with a growth inhibitor so it doesn't start sprouting in the shop. So what you should do is place it in a bowl of water for 24 hours, let it soak, and that will remove the growth inhibitor. And this is why it's also a good idea to peel the ginger before you use it in food. I did soak my ginger in water for 24 hours, so let's start planting. Right now I'm only pre-planting them, not in the place where they're actually going to stay in. So what I'm using is one of these seedling trays. Put a little bit of soil in it, just dump the rhizome off on it, and then put the lid over it, and then I place it on my radiator. Because they're quite fussy. I mean, they're quick growing, but they're very, very fussy about the temperature. So that way they have an ambient temperature coming from the bottom all the time, and then we have a look how they develop within the next few weeks. 2 of these, soil, and I just use regular garden soil as I always do, because that's the kind of guy I am. A few centimeters. They're very, very greedy plants, like, again, most of the rhizome plants there are. Cannas are also very greedy. But right now, I just want them to start to develop. Get me ginger. Place it on here, a little contact with the soil. Same here, and same there. I'm not going to cover it at this stage because I like to see things develop as they go. Just a little bit of water. I mean, they like it moist, but not soaking wet. They're not aquatic plants. The lids, they like it damp and moist. So humidity is their thing. And now I'm just going to place them on the radiator and then they're going to get the ambient heat from the bottom. And let's have a look what happens. So the ginger has been in its moist bed of soil for 3 weeks and they're doing quite well. This one here, you can see that there's a little bit of root coming along there. Not a hell of a lot for 3 weeks. And this one is round about the same size, but there's no root. So I'm going to do a little experiment. What we're going to do is these two are more or less the same size. What I'm trying to do is have a look if we can speed up the root growth. So onion has sulfur compounds in it, which not just make you fart, but they also promote root growth. So we give that a shot and have a look whether it's bollocks or whether it's true. Let's cut this one off and put it into this here thing with some moist towels and some onion. I'm gonna cut the whole thing off. You can see a start that, roots will form here, but nothing really has happened. So I'm gonna cut a little bit more off, take this and put that into its next resting place. So all I'm doing right now is paper towels, wet them, squeeze the water out a little bit because you don't want the damn thing to rot. Place them in the little dish. Put the ginger in here, dump some more moist paper towels on it to keep them moist, and then we're going to be putting the onion bits in it as well. Have it like that.
I've got a little bed.
I'm just taking a little, I'm not quite sure whether that's too much or whether it's a little, but anyway, so.
Is he trying it out?
It's an experiment, exactly. So what we used to do with the children, remember? Dump it in like that, put that one on top, put this one on here, and then let's check it in a few days and have a look if the root has grown quicker than on the one that is still attached to its mother. And that's it. See you in a few days. So if we come into the experiment with the onion and the knob of ginger, about 10 days, well actually to be ainly precise, 11 days ago I put the knob of ginger in here, which was pretty much the same size as this one here. So how has it performed, you ask? Like that. So if we're looking at size, oh dear God, that stinks. I mean, I love onion, but by fuck. Anyway, so they were both pretty much the same size. This one here that remained on the actual rhizome performed far better. If we're looking at this one here, which was with the onion, where we expected an awful lot of root growth, maybe my expectations were unrealistic, but I expected a full bush of roots. There is no bush. We have a few more roots, yes, but on the other hand, if we're looking at this one here, this one has a few roots underneath as well. Oh, and this one had actually contact, so that's more nice. Anyway, so back to these two. And if we're looking at the size, this one here is far bigger than that one. And as they say, size matters.
It does.
Now you tell me. Anyway, so I'm going to pot them up, but I'm going to put them into smaller pots because when they go out, once the weather is better outside, then I'm going to put them outside into a large pot. But I can't be asked having a large pot sitting in the house right now because it's already looking like a garden center in this house. And, you know, several smaller ones, and then we have to repot them. But it's all good. So let's start chopping them and potting them. So when they actually go into their resting place for the summer, it's going to have to be a pot that's quite large on top. It doesn't have to be that deep or that large on the bottom. Ginger rhizomes grow on top, much like cannas do. And then you just have the fibrous roots that are going down, you know, these tiny little things that are growing here. So it spreads on top, kind of like me. And also when someone tells you that every single ginger rhizome will grow, that's not the case. This one here, for instance, it was plump and tight and nice, and now it just shriveled up like an old hag. It did nothing. It had eyes, it should have grown, but for some reason it decided not to. So into compost purgatory it goes. Purgatory, sounds comforting. So if we lift up this one had soil contact, nice few roots established, nice little tight knob or whatever they're called. I'm just going to cut off right here and then put this one into soil. Now I'm cutting them now so there could be fungi or anything coming into the cut wound. I should really let it cure for 24 hours, but I'm not going to do that because I'm using cinnamon. Is a natural antifungal deterrent. So all I'm going to do, cut it off there, put some cinnamon on it, dump it into the soil. And that's it. And then we're done. But before we do anything at all, I'm going to start cutting off the little ginger knobs. I call them ginger knobs. I don't know quite sure exactly what they're called. So I'm leaving a little bit of the old rhizome on it. So this one is going to go into its own little pot. And all they have to do right now, just like, you know, these ugly ass old pots, soil, you know, not too deep, roots nicely spread. And then we make a mess in the kitchen as usual.
I'll clean it up.
I make the mess, I clean it up. I've been very well
Really?
educated, raised, whatever.
On camera, maybe.
Well, my idea of cleaning up is Jane!
Yeah, that's more like it.
So anyway, and this is now done. So it's quite shallow. I like shallow, this is why I'm Mary Jane.
Other way round, baby cakes.
And I'm doing exactly the same thing with the rest of them. This one goes in.
So should it show like that? Or you have to finish?
I haven't finished, no. The rhizomes are very, very shallow. They're very much like cannas.
Yeah, they like to sort of sit on top.
Exactly. And they grow this way laterally. They don't actually grow deep. The rhizomes don't, but obviously then you've got the fibrous roots. There you go. And we just continue like this. And obviously Mr. Twat forgot to put bloody cinnamon on the cuts. So I'll put some cinnamon on this one. Oops. A little bit of... I know.
It's like a disaster today.
It's like, what the fuck, honestly. Anyway, so this will obviously stop any fungus growing. Well, and what I'm going to do now is having to take these ones back out, wash them off, and then put cinnamon on. I know.
You don't have to wash them. You can just put cinnamon on.
Yeah, but if there is already, you know, oh, for fuck's sake. I know, we've got shitload of cinnamon. You know, like they said in Ghosts. You know, oh, the riches of cinnamon. If you haven't Watch, if you haven't watched Ghosts, watch it. It's a brilliant show. So I'm going to do that now. Oh, you bloody twat, honestly. I know. It smells really Christmassy now.
Okay.
I know. However,
February.
I know. However, this is it. I'm going to be rectifying my mistakes with all of these, and then I'm going to dump these into the pots, and then we're done. And then obviously there's going to be an update, as usual, on the progress, and that's it with my ginger fuck up. Anyway, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye.